Mm? Oh, hello. What a week it's been for this channel. The Radical Counselor channel on YouTube. First, we had Cecilia on talking about mental diets. Later, we had Melissa Basie on talking about attachment theory and SP stuff. My God, a lot of conversations this week, huh? Which compelled me to make this video as I'm having my morning coffee. Fred's Beach Haven Diner. It's a diner in Long Beach Island, which I believe is now defunct. There's a few things I want to cover that I thought I should make a video about. Because, yeah, I really enjoyed both those conversations with Cecilia and Melissa. I thought they were interesting. They're both great people to have on, obviously, to talk about different perspectives when it comes to these ideas. But there's a few things I just wanted to mention about that and things in general. First of all, though, this connects directly with what we're going to be talking about anyway. Maggie mentioned this in her video the other day. I suggest watching Maggie's video because they're always great. I'll link to it above. But in Maggie's video, she mentioned, and she texted me this as well, Caleb's YouTube channel, I think, is like the golden thread. But Caleb is, a manifesting coach, SP coach specifically. He did one of the best videos that both Maggie and I had ever seen about the quote-unquote manifesting community, the SP community. I'm going to link above, and I'll put in the description below Caleb's video. Really, really recommend watching that video that Caleb did about the manifesting community and what an utter shit show it is. It's always nice to have people who have, who have been doing this stuff for a while, like Caleb has, and who actually has an approach that works for people. It's always nice to hear somebody like that give really spot on commentary about how much crap we see on social media in regards to manifesting, especially manifesting your SP, all that stuff. Like I say, I often say that, I feel like I'm speaking a different language. And so Caleb was speaking my language in that video for sure. So it was very nice to hear that, heartening to hear that. Like I was telling Melissa the other day, it was very heartening to hear just, other therapists. It seems like more therapists are coming around to some of these manifesting ideas and incorporating it in some of the work they're doing with clients, which I find really heartening and just good. And I just want to make clear, first of all, I hope, if you're interested in this stuff, I would suggest, looking at my conversation I had with Melissa Basie, about attachment theory and her approach. I just want to make it clear, the conversation we're having there, her course, that's her approach. That's how she does it. If you're familiar with this channel, I think that's clear, but maybe you're not that familiar with this channel. Melissa uses a lot of IFS stuff, emotional healing work. Caleb actually uses a lot of emotional healing work as well. I believe in doing emotional healing work as well as a key part of this process for a lot of people. But you don't have to do a specific modality. You don't have to do IFS, for instance, in order for this stuff to work for you. You don't have to do, I always say, just do whatever the heck works to make you feel better. And if you feel better, in all likelihood, you'll manifest your desire. But when it comes to manifesting anything, as I always say, just do what works for you. Find out what works for you. This channel, in large part, exists to give you different tools and options and explain to you different things that could work for you. And then you have to make that connection for yourself, experiment for yourself, and see what works for you. I believe that almost inevitably, you're going to be doing some of this, basically emotional healing work where you're moving through difficult feelings and emotions that you've had that are associated, with your life, with your identity, your conscious identity, since you were, probably a child, right? You're going to have to move through that stuff in some way, one way or the other, in my opinion. Now, do you have to use a specific modality or any kind of like therapeutic modality like IFS to do that? No. There's many different ways to do it, right? In this channel, Cecilia was saying, we should do an episode. The other day she was saying we should do an episode. The next episode should be about letting go, which is letting go is about letting go of these feelings, like not feeling as trapped by these feelings anymore, And there's so many different ways of doing that. And Cecilia and I, I'm sure we'll talk about that next episode. But what we're always talking about on this channel is basically that. Different ways to let go, different ways to move through the resistance, the quote unquote resistance we feel to feel better. I'm most interested, generally speaking, in showing people how they can feel better, right? Move through this stuff and feel more comfortable being who they are right now in the present. And that's what I focus on. I focus much more on that than like how to externally manifest something. My point is you're going to externally manifest more of what you want if you just do this, if you just move through stuff. Inevitably, you do. And you can use a lot of the different methods and techniques we talk about to gently externally manifest things, as well by, just moving through stuff and then gently using these various tools. If you want to explicitly use these tools and use them like hardcore, that's, you can do that too. That's perfectly fine. But even if you're just, for instance, affirming around the clock or whatever, you're still inevitably going to come up with this resistance, come against this resistance and have to move through it. So that's always what we're really focusing on, is moving through the resistance, I hope that's clear. But yeah, you definitely do not have to like use IFS, right? You don't have to do that. It's more just like, IFS is a tool. All these things are tools. But you know what also is a tool? Visualization, affirmations. These are all tools. Tools, hopefully, to make you feel better. Just different options that you have. I also want to mention, Melissa's course. I haven't taken Melissa's course. So, it seems like she's getting good success with people who are taking it. Which is great, but I'm not saying that's the right course for you. I'm not saying any course or watch Caleb's video the other day. He nailed it, especially at the end. He's talking about like courses and coaches. It's not like they're going to solve all your freaking problems. They help facilitate healing and change for you. That's the point, right? You do it yourself, and this stuff can help. Is Melissa's course the right course for you? I have no idea. It in all likelihood will help some of you. And for some of you, it's probably not the right course. Same with all this stuff. Same with like my coaching, right? My coaching's a really good fit for some people, and it's definitely not a good fit for other people, right? You got to figure out, kind of like what resonates for you, and then, decide what you want to do with it, right? I do have a free small YouTube course, I can tell you right now, that talks about just moving through difficult feelings and emotions. Okay? I'll link to that above, and I'll put that in the description as well. That will just give you like, if you're curious about IFS or like this, emotional healing work, emotional intimacy, that's like a nice, quick overview of some of these ideas. And, we've been talking a lot about letting go recently, like the David Hawkins type of approach. That's again, that's pointing at the same thing, moving through stuff, feeling it more fully. If you feel things more fully, even though it's scary some of the time, even though it doesn't feel good in the moment a lot of the time, if we're intimate more with how we feel, things in our life tend to smooth out and get better. And externally, things shift. And you can perhaps make them shift faster by using some of these manifesting techniques like visualization, affirmations, etc. So, yeah, finally, too, I do want to mention, I was more excited about this before talking to Melissa and seeing Caleb's video. But I am going to host a free short group session It's going to be May 28th. May 28th, which is a Tuesday, from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll say this again, I'm sure, on the channel. But like a 2-hour free group session, May 28th, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Specifically talking about some of this SP stuff. I'm certainly not an SP coach, but I do have clients, who have SP situations. And the way I deal with it is different than probably a lot of SP coaches. So if you like my approach, if you're familiar with my approach, you probably would want to attend this session if you feel like you get something out of it. Or if you're just curious about, working with difficult emotions and feelings. But, like Caleb, someone like that is much more of an SP coach, focuses much more on the SP stuff. The SP stuff for me is secondary. Like I was saying earlier, anything external, relationship, finances, even health, that's secondary for me. I always have just, how am I feeling right now? How are you feeling right now? Let's move through how we're feeling. Let's become at peace with how we're feeling. That's really my bread and butter. It's what I love working with people on, is just being okay now. Relax more, try less. It's easier said than done a lot of the time, and that goes for me just as much as you, I'm sure. It's one of these things. I wrote Relax More, Try Less back in in 2015. I wrote Relax More, Try Less, and believe me, I'm still trying to relax more, try less. Every day. It's in my opinion, it's something we're working on continually. I was talking to Melissa the other day. She's saying, "Oh, manifestations should happen quickly." And I said, well, I think how you feel about an external manifestation should shift relatively quickly, like within a month or so, for instance. Like if you're trying to manifest a romantic partner, an SP, right? How you feel about the situation should change, hopefully, relatively quickly. But it's not necessarily going to happen within a couple months. People overpromise and underdeliver in this space, in this community, all the time. Overpromise, underdeliver. Fuck that. That's no good. Let's work on feeling good first. Expect the best. But we don't need to overpromise anything. Let's just work on feeling good, feeling more relaxed internally. And go from there. Underpromise, overdeliver. All right, if you have any questions, you can reach me at radicalcounselor.com. I'm currently not checking comments and loving it, by the way. So, people like to leave comments. That's cool. And sometimes I do check them. But if you actually want to reach me, and I love to talk to people about this stuff. I absolutely love it. But if you actually want to talk to me about it, contact me at radicalcounselor.com or email me at info@radicalcounselor.com. Until next time, enjoy.